You would think I would know this, but every time you have an orgasm, you ejaculate?
I mean, yeah, for the most part. There are a couple times no, but
Mm,
generally yes, at least a
mm,
little. So
okay.
I mean, if a dude's orgasming 100 times a day, I mean, that's like a Gatorade bottle, maybe at least a soda can. I suppose Goop is a way to get into talking about the movie tonight. Now, uh, Body Melt,
But
right?
we're gonna,
Is this
you know
That's a
what?
good intro. That's a good intro,
That's
right?
in, that's incredible that also we just randomly kind of talk about things with a very, would you call this movie a little bit sexy?
Is this a sexy movie? Yeah, well, okay, yeah. Okay. So it's Body Melt, directed by it's an Australian movie directed by Philip Brophy. And it's considered one of the last great Ozploitation movies. You know what that means?
I do not know what that means.
Well, you know what blaxploitation is, right?
Yes.
And that is like, genre movies generally from the black community with black stars, black directors, black writers. Well, this is the Ozploitation, so it's Australians, and it's like independent a lot of the time, and they're genre movies, and they're really taking advantage of Australian stuff. One thing I noticed that happens in Body Melt, and like every fucking Australian movie, is there's always people like living in some sort of weird, junky like fortress. Because it happens in this, right? We'll get to that.
It
But then,
does.
like, the Mad Max movies and like tons of different things. So, Body Melt is about, well, it's about vitamins, right? Can you say that?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What is the name of the name of the facility that makes,
Vimuville.
is it Vimaville or Vimuville?
Vimaville.
Vimaville.
Vimaville. Right?
And yeah, and it means visceral muscular vitalization of latent libidinal energy.
Oh, right. It actually all stands for something.
Yeah, I had to rewind it a couple times to write it down because I
Oh,
went,
because you wrote that down.
I did. I went, oh, that's actually what it means. Oh, then I have to rewind it and write it down because that's really long.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Well, and so I mean, it's obviously a satirical movie about God, what is the word? Supplement, the whole like supplement
Yes,
industry, right?
dietary, what, like the whole
Yeah,
dietary supplement crave of going, if you just take this one pill, you'll burn all that excess
yeah,
fat instead of
ugh,
actually doing things like change your
yeah,
diet or working out or anything. Just
right.
take this pill.
And as two people, you and I, who have gone through several different body shapes, especially in the last 10 years, we could tell people there is only fucking one way to lose weight, and it's to eat better and move around. I mean, there's
That's it.
really no secret. That's it.
That's all you
And
have
it's
to do.
harder. Sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's easier. But all the pill shit doesn't. I don't think it does anything. But on that note, we're looking at a movie 31 years old. That I mean, and that's how long this kind of supplement stuff has been going on too. But like Ozempic is not that different from Vimaville. You know what I mean? Like it's
Not at all. That's what it would be about.
Yeah, it's a good satire because it's like obviously it gets very, very, very crazy, but like the whole angle of like the health company and stuff, it's really it's pretty spot on. And I mean, I take a multivitamin every day, and I take fish oil, vitamin C, a couple other things. But all that stuff for me is because I get really, really, really bad canker sores, like chronically for my whole fucking life. And some of that's due to off balance of certain nutrients. And so when I take those every day, and that helps me not get canker sores. I've been doing that for like 20 years, and but I've never been one who buys like this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, this new supplement will make you a better person and beautiful and sexy and lose weight and healthy, all that stuff.
I mean, when that stuff started coming out originally, it was basically just speed. People were just basically taking speed and it was helping them lose weight because it was curbing their appetite. But It's not a healthy way to go about changing your life.
No, and I take an ADHD medication, which is speed, and
Prescribed by a doctor. You're not just going to the store and
I
getting
mean, I
your
buy it from a kid down the street. It was prescribed by a doctor the first month, but no, I make it in my bathtub now, Shandy. It's really good. South Dakota, meth, we're on it. This kind of thing I never got roped into. I feel like it got big in the 70s, and then science progressed and got big again in the 90s, then big again, 10 years ago with Gwyneth Paltrow. You got Joe Rogan selling shit on his podcast, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
and then just having taking IV vitamins. I know Gwyneth Paltrow's really into that. Instead of just getting her vitamins from actually eating food.
But yeah, some people, using it, taking them in place of just making healthy choices is, humans are always looking for a fucking shortcut.
Quick fix. We need that quick fix.
Yeah.
We can't be patient. We get to have it now because we might die tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what? And now that I think about it, the movie itself almost does that because Body Melt starts with something that a lot of movies make you wait a little bit for, which is boobs.
Boobies.
Right away. And they're in some sort of ultraviolet room or something, right? Because they're like blue boobies. Aren't they blue? I can't remember.
I just remember I went, oh, right away, boobies. I said the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and then I went,
that's what
dang,
I wrote.
This music is banging. Because it was.
It's awesome. The music is awesome.
So we've got two great, this movie's already started off.
Yeah.
Great for me. Boobs, great music.
And that's absolutely. That's my first two notes. My first two notes are, oh man, I love satirical product shit because I also like The Stuff and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then my second note was great music and immediate boobs.
Immediate.
And then I said, this looks like that show Silk Stockings from USA. Do you remember that show? Did you ever see that when you were a kid?
Gosh, I haven't thought about that show in so long.
Like a softcore detective show. But the lighting kind of looked like that at the beginning, right?
It did feel like a softcore porn was starting.
Yeah.
It really did. But
and
what a great
some close-ups on the boobs too. There might have been close-ups on her boobies. I think there were. I think there was later too. Every once in a while you see these old genre movies where it's that there was required level of titties, and they're like, you gotta have a close-up, buddy, or we're not gonna get it in the stores.
We've only had 4 boob shots, and we need to hit our quota. I think we talked about that with the last movie.
Boob quotas. Oh,
you gotta hit your
probably.
Boob quota.
Well, maybe eventually we could do a Joe Bob style thing where we're like, did they hit the boob quota? Yes or no? Because a lot of movies do in horror movies. But so it starts and there's these two. They're both totally naked and they're on this tanning bed sofa thing in some sort of. I assume this room is something that's bombarded them with ultraviolet lights because it's another health bullshit thing. But you start with these two people and the guy's shooting up. But what he's shooting up is this Vimuville supplement of some kind.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And he's obviously having a really bad reaction to it.
Well, we don't know that right away. He starts kind of passing out he's on heroin, he's nodding off, right? And then he leaves. So it's directed by Philip Brophy, and I just found this out today, but Philip Brophy and the guy that wrote it with him, Rob Bishop, are both ex-members of an art punk group. And the name of the art punk group is, there's not letters. It's a left arrow and then an up arrow and then another left arrow.
It's pronounced as 3 clicks.
Is it? You found that out?
So
I wasn't surprised to find out there is some kind of punk thing because this is obviously very satirical, punky kind of feeling of a movie. And also just feels very Australian. And yeah, and what a good opening. And I'm not just talking about a naked lady. That's cool. But then you got this guy shooting up. We don't really know. Then he's done and he leaves. He walks out with a case or something. And then he starts leaving. And then the lady gets on the phone and starts talking about him. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She says because obviously they're against this guy. I think he was basically going to try and go to the police or somebody with the information that what this company is actually doing and where they're actually getting their.
So he's a whistleblower of the whole thing.
Yeah,
he's found out that this is not a good thing to be putting out into the mass public.
Yeah,
space.
And
Yeah.
you'd think you would figure that out when you were shooting it into your veins with a needle in like a sunroom with a naked lady. Like, I don't know if this is a normal vitamin.
You know what I really liked is there's that computer, the old school computer
Mm-hmm.
simulation of Pebbles Court that had, yeah,
Ebbo's Court, Holmesville.
with the family that has a positive pregnancy. So, and it totally reminded me of some old PC games that I used to play.
Totally.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I had written that I really liked the shot, Pebbles Court mimicking the simulation in the computer, and then it goes into the shot of into the mailbox,
Yeah.
which is where the pills get delivered, the supplements are delivered that way. I
Yeah.
thought that was really, really cool. I liked that a lot. So good job, director.
This neighborhood is, they don't know it, but they're being fucking tested on with these new Vimuville products. And each one has a specific health situation that they're targeting, right?
Yes. Because you have the pregnant lady, you have the guy that goes on his main walks every day, you have the kids, you have the guy that travels a lot, and each one is being experimented on differently.
And it doesn't seem like much of a horror setup, but it does get. God, I mean, man, the gore in this movie is outstanding. But I just love so he's driving, and we're learning this. It's a fun way to open the movie because it kind of gives you the gist of what's going to happen while this guy's driving around, and he starts like itching at his throat and looking uncomfortable. And then he goes to this gas station. I fucking loved.
Yeah, but did you notice that when they're kind of going around all the people in Pebbles Court, the car that the two teenage guys, I guess they're teenage or they're young adults, that their car,
Yeah, I don't know what they're supposed to be.
their license plate said Unreal.
Yeah, it was so good. Like, just yeah, it just is like such a mid '90s bro kind of thing to have on your license plate. So it really worked. And speaking of the era, I also wrote a note. This music is it's kind of like perfect grimy 1981 movie style, like, John Carpenter or something, kind of keyboards and stuff. But it's 1993, so it feels insane. It's like, I don't know, it's weird, but the music is awesome. It's just feels so weird with this kind of look of a movie because it sounds like the kind of music you'd hear when you're watching a movie from the early 80s, a little grimier, more realistic looking. But instead, it's 1993. You have this cartoonish, very brightly colored movie with this like grimy, creepy ass music. It's cool.
It was really neat. I did like that that scene as well when he's in the petrol station.
Petrol.
Everyone kind of has a slight Aussie accent, but I kept just forgetting it was an Australian film for some reason.
Yeah, well, there's parts with no dialogue too, where it's just somebody like fucking exploding or whatever. So, easy to forget. But I wrote this note here because yes, so the guy, I forget this character's name. I think it's Sal.
It's Ryan.
Ryan's the guy. I don't know why I wrote Sal. Sal's like what? I wrote a note right after the title said Sal is like what if Brooklyn was Australia? But what does that mean? Oh, that was one of the two kids that you're talking about with the license plate. Sal's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be like Italian. Well, they won't be Italian Americans. They'd be Italian Australians because that's kind of how they project them as,
Yeah.
So that's what I wrote there. But so anyway, so Ryan, at this point seems like Ryan's the main character. But so Ryan goes into the petrol station and asks for dish soap, and the guy goes. So he goes in to get it, and then what happens?
He looks so gross and sickly. And this happens a lot in kind of horror films of a character being sick, going into a brightly lit grocery store or someplace where they're like sweating.
Yeah.
And I can tell obviously something's wrong, but everybody kind of just passes it off as like, oh, they're fucked up or.
Yeah, and I think you're right. You see it in a lot of movies, and they use those kind of places because it's that sickly fluorescent lighting that makes everybody's skin look a little worse.
Yeah, it makes you look gross.
Yeah, and so those fucking tube light, it makes a sick person look a little bit worse. And so he comes in and he asks where the detergent is, and the guy's like, okay, fine, it's over there. But he starts fucking drinking dish soap.
Yeah, I went, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is he drinking dish soap.
But here's what I wrote down, because the guy in the movie who's working at the station, he also just says fuck. And that's what you just said, and I said that too. And I wrote down, if some guy barges into your store and starts to guzzle dish soap, the correct response is to say fuck, and then threaten him with bug spray, because that's what the guy does. He has like this bug spray, like, get away from me. It's all very strange, because what do you think a bug spray is going to do, especially if a guy's, whatever is happening with this guy, he's drinking dish soap. What do you think he's going to do to bug spray?
He's gonna spray it in his fucking mouth.
I guess, but like,
I'd be like, man, that guy is wigging the fuck out. Like, what is that guy on?
and obviously it seems like he has a horrible drug problem, which it kind of is. This supplement has gone wrong, and but he seems to, he seems like he was involved in it in some way, because then he kind of knows that he needs the dish soap, and then he like pours it. When he gets back in the car, his neck starts opening. He starts pouring it in there, right?
Okay, so is the dish soap an antidote? Or does the effects of whatever he has just make you feel like you need to clean? You know how you would have to get your mouth washed out with soap if you said bad words? That's what it kind of made me think of too. I went, oh, so he's got to try to cleanse his body of what's happening. I was very confused. That's why I said, what the fuck?
Right. Well, but you should, because what else you got to say when you see that happen? And I don't think anybody watching it expects the guy to start drinking fucking Palmolive. But it's also, so what you're saying is you think the Vimuville effects are similar to like a dad from the 50s.
And it has that same vibe, the Ville. But it just didn't make any sense to me while I was watching.
Right.
That realization came way later.
Yeah, which is fine. I am a big fan of movies not spoon feeding you. And if you figure it out later, as long as it's pulling you along, then who cares? And in modern times, people are way too obsessed with like knowing all the details, which is boring to me. Maybe he knows that could kill it, which is why I think like later he's driving shortly after this, as his neck starts to split open, and he starts pouring it in there.
Yeah.
While he's driving.
They do this really cool overhead shot of him driving out frantically from the station.
Yes.
And then you just kind of, there's like these 3 old ladies power walking right next to the station. And it was the first thing that caught my eye. And I love when movies do that, when there's something really fucked up happening, but then no one has any idea what's going on, and they're just kind of doing their normal shit that they do every day.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Right, because
I appreciate shots like that.
Me too, because to me, the viewer, so you see those people kind of doing a normal thing while something horrible is happening. So the horrible thing's happening, so you think those people are crazy, even though they just don't know.
Because it also goes to their power walking, so that goes to the whole thing of like being fit and staying fit.
Yeah.
So that's why I appreciated that, because it's kind of a throwback to what Vimuville is all about.
I think it's a good use of your theme, especially in a genre movie where, people are expecting it to be a little crazy. Well, why not just constantly shove the metaphor down your throat?
Literally.
Okay, I did not say that on purpose, but yes, the fucking like next shot is a throat cam shot.
And I wrote, throat shots are cool.
And that's so cool. Yeah. I don't know if you see it very often. Uncut Gems starts with a good butthole cam shot, but a throat, I don't know.
What if he would have turned around and started trying to drive his car with his butt, and then his butt exploded?
I mean, that'd be good too. I guess you could do a legacy sequel, like a butty melt.
Bum melt.
Oh no, you could cross it over with the Air Bud series. And so the air buddies, the dog's children, the air buddies get Vimuville in their system, so it's called Buddy Melt.
Buddy Melt.
And that'd be so much sadder to watch little cute puppies get all these worms and shit, and their face falls apart, and that'd be great.
Okay, so you said you're calling what came out of his throat worms? I thought they were tentacles.
Yeah, okay, tentacles too. Yeah, I wasn't sure,
But are they worms? Do we think maybe they're...
I don't know. They don't really they don't really make it clear, which I love that because it's clear that like they're using some kind of bad stuff that is having different effects on different people because everybody who dies in this from that stuff dies a little bit differently.
Yeah, and I thought they were tentacles, so I thought maybe whatever had been synthesized in the supplements was implanting sort of alien to it was very reminiscent me of like the alien popping out of the chest type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think worms or tentacles. What we're both saying, it's kind of the same thing. Because I thought the same thing. Like, there's it's something has is gestating is the good word I think for it inside this guy.
That's a great word. Gestation.
He decides to go warn them. He doesn't know until as he's driving there, then he realizes he's been drugged. That's why he pulls over and gets a dish soap because he's been involved in the making of this drug. So he's like, "Oh, dish soap might help me." So then he gets that, and then he's like, so you know, and he had written the guy's address down, so he's still trying to get there, but now he's like fucking dying, and his throat's opening up, and there's tentacles and worms, and who knows what the fuck else coming out of his body. So then he's like, well, now I just got to crash the car. You know, obviously he's killing himself, but also maybe he's doing that to draw attention to what's happening. Because, I mean, this act of driving the car into the place kind of starts everybody else wondering what the hell's happening.
Well, now that I think about it, the guy's address that he wrote down, that guy's character's name is Paul. He works for an FM radio station. So do we think he specifically went there to get Paul to talk about it on the air and warn people?
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody, you're listening to Quiet Storm. I want to tell you about these vitamins that make Cthulhu come out of your neck, so be careful with that. Thank you. Is that how you pronounce Cthulhu?
Cthulhu. That's how I would pronounce it.
I've never... Cthulhu. All right, just want to make sure. And then he was saying, because he was notating in his tape recorder, the effects.
Yeah, he was.
Of what was happening to him. And then the cops, after they come to the crash car, they listen to it, and they're like, was this guy on drugs, or was he a poet? And then he goes, might be both.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, fuck poetry.
So that cop, he has a couple moments where he thinks he's being so clever with his one-liner, and it made me laugh out loud. He was that cop.
Really going for it. But why? So they think he could be a drug addict or a poet. Haha. But like what I wrote down after that is like, why do they think he was on drugs? Like what drug? What drug is that, guys?
So he drives his car into the Italian kid's car, and cops just let the kids leave in that car, even though it's like part of an investigation. They just let them go. And I went, that's how they do it in Australia?
I would hope not. I'm thinking that's how they do it in the world of this movie.
They're like, well, it still runs. They got places to go. Just let them go. I was like, but also because the windshield was busted.
Yeah.
But they still let them drive off in it.
Right.
Like, it's not street legal anymore.
Oh, the windshield of their car was busted. Yeah. Oh, well, but they said they had to leave, right? Because they had to go somewhere. They were being called off on some task that's actually part of the whole scheme. And then Paul is also like, I got to go to the airport. Like, nobody wanted to talk to the cops either, but it's not because they were hiding something. It's because they didn't give a shit.
They don't care that a man is dead with his fucking throat slit in their driveway.
And alien poop or whatever it is.
There's no cause for alarm or concern. Everything is fine.
Well, and I think part of it is because people are fucking obsessed with themselves. And I mean, you know, you see it in New York all the time. People walking by absolute, destitute, horrible shit happening to people, and they just keep walking by. And sometimes it's because you just have to. I mean, you've lived in New York most of your life now. I mean, you've had to walk by homeless people how many times and not notice them? Just to go about your life, right?
Yeah, but what I always notice is men with their fucking dicks out.
Yeah. Well, this guy didn't have his dick out.
That.
Right. But this guy had like alien dicks coming out of his throat.
I was just going to say that. Maybe they were little dicks.
Little dicks. Oh, man. But, you know, and that kind of ties in, and we'll get to the big muscly guys later, but like the whole health thing of little dicks, you know, sometimes these supplements and stuff will shrink your boys. Oh, I mean, I like, this is definitely a genre or a subgenre of horror, I guess you could say, which is like I have a section of it on my movie shelf, Mad Science, and that's where this would go if I get it.
Yeah, it's human experimentation for capital gain. Basically real life.
Yeah, I
Basically
mean
our
that's
life.
well, that's the thing, and again, that's what a good satire is going to do is it's going to draw attention to real shit. I mean, look at They Live, uh, everything that They Live said aliens were doing has now happened just with rich people, fucking controlling us and secretly controlling.
Well, maybe rich people are actually aliens.
And they're not aliens. That's a problem, but that means we can kill them. So good. Anyways, it
Perfect.
starts with so Paul before he goes to the airport is staring into his coffee, and I wrote, "I am that guy staring at his coffee at least 3 times a day, and just looking at your coffee, thinking like, oh no, do I have body melt? But he doesn't know that yet. He goes to the airport and he's sitting there, and then he sees the girl who's not really there, and she's got like a scabby, gross face, and starts talking to him, but she's not there. And then he starts freaking out, and then he knows something's wrong with him at that point, right? And that's okay. That's when he
Yeah.
goes to stare at his coffee. That's right. He sees her. He starts freaking out,
Yeah, that's when he stares at it.
thinking like, "Oh shit, do I have the body melts?" And then the lady shows up again. She's like, "I'm gonna stay at your place."
That shot was really creepy to me because he starts talking to her like she's really there. Like, "Oh yeah, I got a room you can
Yeah.
just stay in. Like, you can just totally stay here." And then she's gone.
And then he goes home, and then we join the Italian, American, Australian boys, right? On their little trip. Meanwhile, the detective is starting to figure out that something's up, so the detectives try to follow these guys, but they ditch them, right?
These cops I never really paid much attention to when they were on screen.
One of them cares and is looking into it. The other guy's kind of like, yeah, no, but one of them is super confused and thinks something's going on. He starts looking into it. So yeah, I think he's a good guy.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not interested because you're watching all these other people who are so weird, and it turns out all these people are weird because they've got this fucking shit in their system that's gonna make them explode soon. And that's more interesting because, I think part of it is too because the cops aren't being experimented on. So you don't really want to. You're not really caring about watching them because you're pretty sure they're not going to randomly explode at some point. But you're like, I want to follow the people who are going to randomly explode in a shower of blood and tentacles and alien dicks at some point. So I want to follow those people.
They make their very similar Texas Chainsaw Massacre trip.
Yes.
Because it completely reminded me of that immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
That and House of a Thousand Corpses, it reminded me of that too. The creepy ass family, and they just keep coming out.
Yes. Yeah, there's so many of them.
Did you get their names?
Yeah, I did not write down enough notes on this, but their names are really weird. You got them?
My favorite was Pud.
Pud. Yes.
Pud.
That's just
I wrote, what a great name. And then there's Bab.
Bab. Okay. Pud.
Branto. Pud, Bab, Branto, and Mac.
Pud, and Babs, and Mac, and Pidgeot. No,
Branto.
Branto's one of the two guys because there's the first two weird rednecks they meet. That's Pud and Branto. Mac's the dad, right?
Mm.
And then what's the other one?
Bab.
And Bab's the one that comes out who's like the lady, the like horny lady one.
No, I didn't get the waitress's name.
Oh, that's it. Okay, yeah, because that's right. Because there's a lot of them, and it's weird.
Yeah, and Branto's tongue was like split in half or half gone.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here?
I wrote this down. Is Australia really like this? Because every single Australian movie seems to suggest that it is. Because there's always these fucking kind of people in these movies. And like, hello, I'm Pod. I live in garbage. I'm out in the country, and I've got secrets.
You mean a family that is an incest family?
No, I mean that's probably what's happening here.
Very Australian.
No, I don't mean details. No, I mean just like I don't mean like that. I mean visually and physically, like people just living in ramshackle, kind of sweaty, swatting flies kind of situation. I mean, they're in Crocodile Dundee. There's this weirdos. I don't mean like specifically inbred hillbillies, but just like people who are kind of weird, living out in the sticks in these weird ramshackle things. I feel like every fucking Australian movie has this, and it's like it makes me think that that's happening there. You know,
Somebody from Australia is going to have to explain it to us.
somebody from Australia is gonna be mad because first I did a completely shitty accent, then they're like, "Ah, he thinks we're all a bunch of weirdos out in the Barbie or the outback."
Well, we're not the ones that put it in every movie that you've ever made.
Right. Oh, I could do one good Australian accent, but it's a specific one. Charlie, my baby. You've seen Lost, right? Charlie, Charlie. Okay. Charlie bit me and it hurts, Charlie. It really hurts.
Charlie.
I watched that video again not that long ago. It's still a fucking banger.
Oh my god.
And it just hit Charlie and it hit me and I told you to do it. And he's like trying to explain to this fucking baby like all these rules. It's like, it's a goddamn baby. Don't put your fingers in the baby's mouth. Anyone who's ever been around a baby, you don't put your hand in their mouth, especially when they're teething.
No, don't get your glasses near them. Babies have a grip of a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
For real.
You know what? So that video was so long ago that the kid who's like, Charlie bit me, he's like old enough, he's the right age, or he's probably a fan of, I bet he's a fan of one of us. And he's listening now, and he's like, Timmy and Shandi, they made fun of me on on that podcast, and it hurt me. It really did. I'm guessing he still talks like that.
Well, maybe you can explain what the hell is going on in every Australian movie.
I don't. Yeah, but well, no, that kid's British. I just got to that because of the Charlie thing. Charlie.
Well, whatever. They might know.
Oh, wait. I think you're right. Because you ask a British person, they'll be like, well, why is Australia so weird? We sent all our criminals there, didn't we?
See? See?
You know? Yeah, and
Hello?
they fucking harassed the people that were there, Aboriginals and stuff, and there you go. Yeah, so there you go. That's true. And so these guys, okay, Sal and the other guy that are there, now they're supposed to be, this is the place they're supposed to go to. They're taking, they want them to fix their windshield, is that right?
I believe so. I still don't really understand why they were going here, but that makes sense to me.
And they're not very good at detecting the threat of the situation. They don't really seem to really pick up on like these people are fucking weird, man. You know?
They're actually into it.
Yeah.
They're so having a good time.
And they're just kind of like, yeah, sure, whatever. But also, so if you're that kind of person, then that's going to get you into trouble like this, where they fucking end up getting like they're victims of these people. They just don't know it.
I'm sorry. If I went to some gas station
Mm-hmm.
where the people looked like that and then thought it was fun to kill a kangaroo and eat it in front of me the way that they did while they're laughing and think it's a good time, I would leave. I would have left.
Yeah. I mean, the kangaroo thing, I'd be like, I'm out. I'm out.
Like that's reminiscent
Like-
to me of like have you seen the movie Gummo?
Long time ago. I don't remember very much.
Where like the kid is like beating the cat that's hanging up with a switch and metal music is playing. Like that's their pastime. Their pastime is
right. Yeah.
killing and mutilating animals. That's terrifying.
Yeah, there are people out there who do that, you know?
For fun. I don't like it.
Yeah, and that's and animal stuff in movies is always tough. You know, sometimes it's so I can put up with it, and other times I'm like, no.
It was really funny though when they hit the kangaroo. You could tell it was probably a fake stuffed, because the way it fell over was really funny.
Yeah, really fake. But good for them. Also, what we've seen in videos over the years of kangaroos is they'll fuck you up. So that's probably why they did that. Like we don't want to fight a kangaroo. You know. I'm gonna keep doing my terrible accent. It's gonna end up like how Trevor would always just do Borat for any accent. Like when we were like, do Christopher Walken accents. Like, I'm Christopher Walken, you know. Anyways, that was a bad impression of Trevor doing an impression badly of someone else to do an impression badly of someone else. So, anyways, it's like an onion.
My brain.
Yeah. Welcome to my
Well,
world. So, but this movie is like this too, where it's just like, what?
yeah,
And I was eating gummies and stuff, and
you were.
there's these legal mushroom gummies I absolutely love, and they don't get you too crazy
Crazy.
because they're not psilocybic, but they definitely like will get you to stare at your hand sometimes.
Or your coffee.
Yeah, or your coffee. I'm like out of my mind. I'm watching this. I'm like, wonder if I'm gonna melt.
The parrot cracked me up because it was wearing a shirt that says sexy.
Yeah, what the hell? That was crazy. And that was a real bird. So they did
Made
that.
me laugh out loud. So I was like,
And see, that's why I think Australia's really like this, because I think someone was like, "Oh, I have this bed that we always put this crazy shit on. He loves it. Can I bring him to set?" And they're like, "Well, set is your house, and the bird lives here at your crazy ass fucking house." So yeah, 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 yeah. Like I think that's what it is.
I, and I just imagine it just says that all the time. Sexy, 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 sexy.
I just think, I mean, that's another piece of evidence. Like I think this country is legitimately like that. Like you got Sydney, looks very beautiful. Everybody knows the Opera House, okay. And you got a couple other towns. The rest of it is just fucking bananas.
It's bananas.
And these people living in huts. And then you got the cool Aboriginal people. There's still some out there, I believe, just kind of living their tribal life. They're probably fine. But they don't have birds with shirts on. This just it's just crazy. And yeah, and like, like every Australian movie has all these weird side characters, actors, like just that look strange. And there's some more that come up in this movie in a little bit. Um, but so I forget. So they start getting like killed, but I forget how.
So when they went into the house and it was so neat inside, they
Mhm.
had like they had a did you see the Kiss Halloween mask on the wall?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I went, hell yeah. Like the inside of the house looked like a fun house.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you want your apartment to look like.
It's kind of what my apartment does look like a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. It does look like yeah.
But I went, sweet. They're kind of like hoarders. Awesome. They just have everything
Oh,
in there.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
it's another family. In the beginning, you have all these people in this in Pebbles Court that are experimented on. Did you think when you started seeing them that they were part of the experiment originally that went wrong?
No.
See, I didn't think that either. It did not dawn on me.
I thought they were just weird rednecks.
That's exactly what I thought watching this, and I just thought it was like a one-off type of scene of there's just these crazy people that live here that are going to kill these kids. But I had no idea what it had to do with Vemuville or anything.
Yeah.
It did not dawn on me
No,
that they
but
were part of the experiment gone wrong.
well, and then they show the picture
Yes.
of the old doctors and stuff. And I love that they start because that's when the movie, like, there's so much craziness happening for like the first half an hour. There's like maybe we're 22 minutes or something into it. Then it's like, then it starts getting the plot kind of going where it's like, oh, okay, well, they're all part of this. Their dad was actually like a normal fucking guy. And then due to what was happening, he became like that. And then they all
Yeah.
became like that. And
Yeah, their kids' dad was one of the doctors that created the supplement originally.
right. And so everything weird or bad that happens in the movie is the fault of this horrible company, which is cool. Because that's kind of how life really is, you know?
It is like that. But
So how do these guys die? Because I can't remember.
oh man, you don't remember this one?
I mean, I
Ugh.
remember blood and awesome gore, but I don't remember exactly what happens.
So one of the city kids, the one that's like the girl's been flirting with,
Yeah.
she takes him back into a little barn area to go do it.
Yeah.
And they start
Specs.
making out. And then all of a sudden she starts eating his neck.
Yeah.
And then there's a shot that goes to the other kid that's running through the house. And he runs into the room where there's an old granny watching porn. So and it's just dick. Just dick and bush.
Yeah. Right, like it's close up. And I wrote, when they showed the grandma watching close up porn and frowning, I knew this movie was special. Because that's so fucking funny and crazy.
Yep.
And it's another family member you didn't know. It's like how it's similar to the Sawyer family in Texas Chainsaw, where it's like, oh, there's this weird ass grandpa. Oh, he's alive. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just watching dicks.
But not having fun. She's not happy about
She's not happy about it.
looking at this dick going in the puss. I can't believe I have to watch dicks going up puss. Saying puss is so gross and fun. It's
Puss.
terrible. Puss.
Well,
Ugh.
I'm surprised one of their names wasn't Puss. You got Pud.
This is puss and dick. Yeah, pud, which is a
This is Puss and Pud.
pud's a slang term for vaginas too, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think is it?
I know that there's a No Effects song where he says it, but I don't know if that really counts as evidence or not. So,
Well, this was a moment that they missed of calling one of these characters Puss.
yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, but puss doesn't mean pussy over there.
What does it mean over there?
It means more like when Britain and Australia, it's more just like cats and stuff,
It's like a kitty cat.
or like it's like a love term. Like if I called you honey, or like you're a sweetheart, it'd be you're a pussy.
Well, you really don't like this is what sticks out in my mind the most of this whole movie
I remember it, but I watch a lot of movies and my brain doesn't work. And yeah, so anyway,
of when so she eats his neck and he's
Mhm.
screaming and freaking out. They do the cut scene to old granny watching porn. Then they
Yeah.
go back. She's shoving a stick up his ass.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she keeps aggressively smashing it into his asshole.
yeah.
I was
God,
like,
that's right.
what the fuck is
So
happening? These
crazy.
holy fucking shit.
I can't believe this movie isn't more famous because it's like because it is nuts and the
Insane.
effects are awesome. I
She comes
mean,
running out with blood on her mouth, and
yeah.
her dad is like, I told you to keep it in the family. Keep it in the family.
Oh, so she's only supposed to shove broomsticks up the assholes of her relatives.
Maybe she needs to do that to her grandma and put a smile on her
Oh.
face.
I'm gonna get a call from an Australian grandma who's very upset. She's like, "We're not all like that, and I don't appreciate how your friend says I should get sodomized by my niece." You know,
Yeah, I don't like sodomy in movies. It really bothers me a lot.
I'll one up you and say I don't like sodomy.
You just don't like it. I don't want it. I don't need it. Don't do it to me.
I mean, I've never had it done. I've never been on the receiving end. The time it has happened to me, it was not a fun situation, and so I don't know. Maybe I just need another go around.
Well, maybe it needs to be a stick.
Oh, so well, I'm saying I've never been on the receiving end. So do you think if
Oh,
I was going to be on the receiving end, I should get a stick
it
and
should
not
be a
just like
stick
have sex with a person? Okay.
after your neck gets eaten.
Okay. So so maybe that's why I didn't like butt sex the one time I had it because there was no cannibalism or prison sodomy involved. All right. Well, I don't talk to
Um,
that girl anymore, but I could tell her. I'd be like, "Hey, by the way, I think here's why I didn't like it because I didn't
by the way,
murder you."
it wasn't done correctly.
Oh God,
So
that
the
was
girl
bad.
that sodomizes the man with the
Mhm.
broomstick, she also is wearing a cool shirt. Her shirt says, "I'm a big girl."
Yes.
Uh,
Now, do you think these shirts were just around, or did they make them? Because, like in Rob Zombie movies, especially the first one, he's got some pretty crazy T-shirts on these guys. But I think they made them for the movie.
I really think the "I'm sexy" on the parrot
That's got to be real.
and this, I think it was all intentional.
You think it was intentional? So you think
I
they
think
made them?
I think they had them specifically for these characters.
Okay, but that doesn't really take away from it. It's all insanity.
No, and
And
I didn't notice it until she ran out with blood all over her face, and I went, "What is on her shirt?" And they just started laughing. I'm like, "But see, she's a big girl now, so she's doing what she's doing. That's what she's doing. What big girls do."
yeah, fucking eat men and play with their buttholes. I just remember to look at my letterbox review of this movie. I didn't say much, but I said there are so many weird apocalyptic hillbillies in exploitation movies that surely Australia must be chock full of them in real life, right? And that's what I've been saying all night tonight.
Right,
So one of my fans commented, said, "Just a correction, Timmy. We call them bogans, not hillbillies down here."
bogans.
So yeah, they're a bunch of bogans. Boy, you gotta get
Wow.
out there and have your windshield fixed by a bunch of bogans. That was a terrible accent. I'm so bad at this. I'll just do it as Sean Connery. Like bogans. You would let bogans fix your windshield, would you? That wasn't good either. Anyways,
Now we're at V headquarters.
oh yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
the detectives. So it's
Right, right,
Johnson
right,
and
right, right.
Phillips. I finally caught their names
Okay.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at the headquarters because they're trying to ask questions and figure out like what the fuck is going on. We have this recording. Do you know anything about this? And of course that lady is giving them the runaround and being like, I don't know what you're talking about. Blah 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 blah.
I don't know about any dead man I slept with. I mean, what?
She's
Yeah.
because she basically goes, I don't know who that is.
Right. And they're like,
We know better.
bullshit. Yeah.
We know better. Now we're at the coroner's office.
Yeah.
And the coroner's name is Willie, and he's a big hippie wearing a tie-dyed
Yes.
shirt, and he has big yellow smiley faces on the door flaps.
Yeah, to
That was
the morgue.
awesome.
I
It's
wrote
a
this
morgue.
down. Why are coroners always weird stoners in movies? Because this happens a lot, especially in horror movies. It's from this time period. There's another one. Was it Maniac Cop? I can't remember which movie it was, but it's like a weird coroner. And even like Silence of the Lambs is a weird coroner. The one that's like, or maybe it's a crime lab, but that guy that's like staring at her,
Yeah.
It's like, if I was a coroner, I'd be mad.
It's like a quintessential horror movie trope of like you have like the coroner has to be zany. Like it's got to be a
Right.
zany coroner.
Or Tony Todd.
Yes.
Because in whatchamacallit, the
Yes.
Final Destination movies.
Yes. Yeah. And oh my, is the cadaver in this movie so bad?
Oh, yeah.
I laughed so hard and I had to pause the movie.
About how fucked up the guy is?
I know just how bad it looked.
Oh, like, yeah. Oh, the face. Yeah.
The whole body.
But the dick is real. They show like a shot
I
like right
know.
up the looking at the taint. And that's a real dick, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes, it was real. And so
And it was fabulous.
We get more dick in this movie than we get boobs.
Yeah, well, I'm all about equality, Shandi, so I'm okay with that. Fuck the patriarchy.
It goes back around to the director, and his band, because that album, remember the album cover I told you about? It's just a dick.
I would bet they were naked on stage a lot. Doesn't it seem like that? They probably whip their dicks out all the time.
Yes, because it's performative art.
Like Gigi Allen. Yeah.
Yes.
Why does performance art always equal dick and poop and, like, I'm going to be gross with my body?
Because normally in society, it's normal to always be covered up. Like that's.
And I do understand.
So
I'm asking this question as a member of the club who has done strange nudity on stage before. So, which you witnessed, and you can never burn that out of your brain.
I've also been naked in a room full of people that I didn't know.
Oh, you have too? Yeah. Okay.
I've also been naked near a river in Italy with men driving by.
Oh, that was when you were doing model stuff.
Yes.
Well, then you and I, you said there were those crazy ass parties you used to host at that bar. There were tops and bottoms.
Tops and bottoms.
And that one time I wore just a big T-shirt, and I don't think anybody knew that I was fucking freeballing it down there. I just had a T-shirt on. Do you remember that? Because the first one I had boxers and tape over my nipples. Because I think you had tape over your nipples, and I thought it'd be funny if I did too. Because no one cares about a guy's nipples.
Didn't you have a jock strap in one of them?
No. Oh, that's what it was.
Isn't there the photo that you're in a jock strap and a baklava?
I hope not. But there was one. So I think the party.
You had baklava on and you had a jock strap.
That's when I had the big shirt on. And then I took the shirt off and I only had this fucking little thing on.
We were out of our fucking minds.
There's so much of my life I have to hide from my daughter. It's like, you know what? We were in our mid-20s. We were in our sexual prime. We felt like, we felt like we could do anything we wanted to and party all the time. And so that's what we did.
Those parties were fun, especially when people would participate. You know, you have a room full of people that either have no top on, no bottoms on, or just nothing on.
There's a lot of flesh. Now, this is before it was okay for women to be topless in New
Yeah,
York, right? So, like, you had tape on. What's her name? The bartender had to have stuff slightly covered up. But now you could just walk around with your shirt off, right?
I could, but I wouldn't.
I know, but I've heard that in New York, like you can now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen women do it before.
And I was there and it was very hot when I was there a couple months ago and I didn't see it at all. I was like, man, as a tourist, I would like to experience the city. Where the boobs?
Me, when I go to a big city, I'm
Mhm.
just looking for the dick.
Yep, just waggling around. I mean,
Where's the
but
dick in the bush? Hmm?
okay, but we don't want PUD. We don't want there to be a law that lets guys have their dicks out because that you know what it is. They take them out anyways, as you said earlier.
That's true. That is very
And the
true.
thing is the way men are with their dicks. Like if we could take them out on purpose, it's just only going to get worse for women. Like chasing you
I
around.
bet dudes wouldn't do it as much. I feel like dudes do it because there's some kind of voyeurism type of thing going on.
Yeah, like a naughty thing. And here's the thing: is the worst creepy guys probably wouldn't do it because they have the worst dicks.
Oh, they always have these weird smashed looking dick.
Like us nice guys. I have a beautiful dick, but I wouldn't whip it out on people. So
Is that what you say when you walk down the street? You're like, I'm really sorry. It's too beautiful for me to just whip it out.
I can't show you guys my sweet cock.
I don't care how much you want it. You're not getting it.
Yeah, well, it gets me in trouble because I'll just go up to random strangers and be like, "Listen, I know you want to see my penis. You're not gonna, and you're just gonna have to live the rest of your life." And I just
And
walk
you
away.
just keep walking. Like, what the fuck was that?
And then I just walk into the lake. Goodbye.
He just walks into the east. He just jumps into the East River.
Goodbye.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, the cops are at the company, and the lady's lying her ass off to them. And
mhm,
the thing is especially in the 80s and 90s, it was a big deal in horror movies to have a cop who's kind of sort of like the audience trying to figure out what the fuck's
mhm.
happening. It happens in a lot of horror movies. And the good ones are where you're kind of with the cop, at least at their level of knowledge, where it's like, okay, well, I don't know a bunch about what's happening, and neither does he. And to me, the bad ones are when you know what's happening and you're watching a cop investigate it, and you're just like, come on, it's fucking Jigsaw, let's go. Like I say, come on, he's got people in a death trap. Let's out. And that's why the first Saw movie is great, and then they kind of, and then they make the bad guy. Anyways, a cop, and
Yeah,
okay. Anyways, but you know what I mean,
I
right?
know.
And so this one, I like that because we don't really know what's happening, and he doesn't either.
No, but then the coroner, Willie, our man, Willie, probably named after Willie Nelson.
Hmm.
The drug takes you to other dimensions.
Oh, so he
So
knows about it.
he's testing
Oh
what
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
found
yeah,
in
yeah.
his
Okay.
system and killed him.
Wait, other dimensions.
Other dimensions,
So the
Timmy.
Cthulhu thing I said earlier was probably more accurate
Yes.
than anything else.
Yes, and I was
Because
talking about like,
Cthulhu's from the between universe kind of deal. I forget, but yeah.
and that's what I'm saying, that it might be an alien gene or some type of gestation of that an alien's like, overtaking the brainstem or just
Yeah,
overtaking,
yeah, yeah.
or that your hallucinations are actually taking you into another dimension, which is then exposing you to what is causing their bodies to melt.
Yeah, good point. And their brain can't take two realities at once, and so their body starts to
Yes.
freak out.
Bam,
Okay,
bow,
yeah,
bow,
yeah,
bow,
yeah,
bow,
yeah,
bow,
yeah. I like
bow.
that. Another dimension, another dimension, another dimension, another dimension. I love that fucking song. And so does my daughter. We sing that part. My daughter likes Beastie Boys because we'll sing that, or she'll just go, "Hey, hey, hey, ladies!" So, anyways, that's some real Brooklyn shit there. All right.
That's amazing. Well, we find out about the dimensions, and then now Paul is like really having a
Yes.
fucking trip because he's looking at his
Yeah.
mailbox, and
Oh yeah.
This is a really
See,
cool
I was
fucking
stoned
scene.
when this part happened, and
Were
I
you?
was like, I don't know what's happening. I gotta go.
I was just like, yes, this is fucking sick. Now
Yeah.
this is so go from like fucking corner that's obviously a hippie taking LSD to a super fucking trippy scene where Paul is looking to his mailbox and then all of a sudden there's a girl that's pulling
Yeah.
out corner tools as rib cage bones.
God damn.
I didn't realize until I actually watched this scene 3 times because I was like, this is fucking sick. Her earrings were made of bones, and they looked
Yes.
like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Could you tell what bone it was? I thought they were hip bones,
Yeah. Something like that. I wasn't quite sure,
but I thought that was
it
really
was
cool.
really crazy. Yeah.
And then she's talking about how like she's on top of Paul, talking. You know, he's kind of having like a dream. He's like in a dream state.
Yeah.
And she's like, 12 people have now been collected, and I need 13 male ribs. And she's like massaging, like she's like her fingers are going into his fucking chest.
Yeah. And wait, and isn't this
And
the
shit.
lady who's from the company? Isn't that who we see?
Oh my gosh. No, this is the lady that he was hallucinating in the beginning with the fucked up face.
Oh, but there's another lady in that too.
No, but now she's beautiful.
Right. Okay. It's the same lady, but now she's hot. Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene was fucking sick.
That should be a clue, right? If you're having hallucinations and they're all uh, the same thing, you're having hallucinations at different times and they're the same thing, that's bad, right? Like, that's when you should be like, well, wait, what is this happening? Because shouldn't hallucinations just be crazy random shit?
I mean, I would be going to the doctor immediately. I'd be in the ER like, I'm having a bad fucking trip or something is fucking wrong.
Doctor, these drugs are crazy. But I mean, that's what you get for shooting the. I mean, the whole thing about this is like, yeah, don't take supplements, right? I mean, it's kind of what it is.
Yeah, don't take things that haven't been tested properly.
Yeah, that's there you go. Yes.
Don't take shit for free either. Because I feel like the shit was randomly showing up in these people's mailboxes
Yes, yeah, the samples because it's
as like
samples. Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah, yeah,
samples,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
just like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna try. Like I think one was like a tea, one was
Yes. Yeah, Paul
you
had
put
the
it, another
tea.
one was in
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't take free shit.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, you can
You'll
take free stuff if it's like a cheeseburger, but like, well, not in your mailbox. Don't take anything. Don't eat stuff out of your mailbox.
How could that be though? You get a cheeseburger and then you're into another dimension.
Another dimension, another dimension, another cheeseburger, another cheeseburger, cheeseburger dimension.
Oh man. Well, now we have another
I'm
test.
so sweet like a nice bonbon. Okay, sorry. Fucking love MCA. R.I.P. Okay.
Well, now people start oozing.
People start oozing
Oozing goo.
in different ways.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I love. It's like your body, it depends on your body how it reacts to this thing.
Yeah. So Paul has it coming out of his ears. And then Cheryl has a blob that pops out of her.
The pregnant lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She starts to like freak out. Is this when she thinks like her water broke?
Yeah.
And then she starts like bleeding.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. And then when the stuff starts coming out of her.
To me, I thought she was having a miscarriage. And I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit. And then her body starts freaking out and she's on the bed. And then like her stomach fucking explodes. And I was like, this is fucking creepy. She's like looking for her miscarried baby. So the thing got out, but now she's looking for it. But now all of a sudden, her husband grabs a fucking knife. She's like, get a knife, cut it out of me, get a knife, cut it out of me. But then tentacles come out and go into her husband's mouth. And then that's when she explodes.
Yeah.
And I just wrote, wow, it's really windy in there. And then all of a sudden, he's sitting in the back of a patrol car.
He's a ringer now.
Yeah.
And he's going to the police station. He's going to cause some trouble. He's going to cause a real wing ding, you know.
Well, now they're like, oh, the husband killed the wife scenario, so they're taking him downtown.
Right. Because the organism, the drug stuff, took him over and basically kind of
Yeah.
is framing him so that he can go to the cop shop and fuck it up.
We find out that her doctor is the other guy in the fucking photo.
Yes, and he's behind the whole goddamn thing.
He's
Along
behind
with
the whole thing.
along with the redneck dad.
Oh yeah, he's
They
the
fucking
other. He's the guy's
They
partner.
developed. I just said developed. They developed Vimoville together.
They
They
developed.
developed that together. There's yes. 100% sober, by the way. But anyways, yeah.
Well, now we find out that like these experiments have been going on for a really long time.
Mhm.
Hence the crazy hillbilly family.
Mhm. I'm assuming they think that the the vitamins are gonna like powers making you do different things, because obviously some of these things like aliens and a huge tug and all that, it seems like some kind of power. But he says he took the additive that keeps it under control, and without it, you just, I mean, that's what's happening. You body melt, or your tongue gets really big, which was maybe my favorite one. But yeah.
So he also, when he puts that little red vial, he puts on top of a Polaroid picture. Do you think that's the now crazy looking doctor with maybe his former wife, or do you think it's the
Oh, might be, yeah. And even though it's hard for us to remember, I feel like the filmmakers probably don't remember it either, because there's probably drugs involved making it,
Yeah, they were taking it.
Done any good drugs lately? Yeah. You know what? It's this guy. It's it's Mac or whatever.
The redneck?
redneck.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what did I get corrected on? They're called not Borg. That's like cyborgs. What, the Brahms? Gloms?
Wrongdons?
Or Brahms, I'm almost there. Let me see. Okay. Bogans.
Bogans!
Bogans. Okay, so I think that's the Bogan dad with Shan, the hot doctor lady, or hot corporate lady. And then he must have decided to experiment on himself. He got all weird and left. I mean, or she dumped him because she's clearly a shallow asshole. And what about the weird ass family? Does anything happen with them? I
Well,
forget.
this is
Oh yeah.
when they get, I guess you would say, like, they get like a free vacation. They get to go to the Vimuville headquarters,
Yeah, that's
like
right.
for
That's right. That's right.
fitness
Oh yeah,
program.
yeah. Oh
Um,
man. So this is when it starts cutting back and forth a lot with awesome music, and it's almost like more like a
yeah,
music video than anything else, because just like
it does feel like that. And this is when the dad starts having the phlegm.
yes.
He
Oh
starts like
god.
sneezing. She's like, "Ooh, you've got like stuff coming out of your nose." He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
pardon me." And he goes to the bathroom, and then just like all this like phlegm starts
Oh, it's so
going
gross.
in and out and in and out, like all over
In
his
and out.
face.
Oh,
And then he's just laying in the bathroom as a big booger, is what I thought
yeah.
he looked like.
And then it gets worse and worse. The dad starts to get all. What'd you say? He turns into a booger. I mean, yeah. So he starts turning
He
into a
turns
booger.
into a big
And
booger, and there's a shot when his wife is like, "What are
yeah,
you doing in there?" Because he starts to like have snot literally just coming out of every
yeah,
orifice, and
yeah,
he falls and hits his head on the edge of the
yeah,
bathroom sink,
yeah.
and
Owie.
then his like mouth starts going like sucking in with the snot. It makes such a
Ugh,
nasty
it's so
voice, like,
gross.
and she's like, "What are you doing?" That's
And
so gross.
on that note, listeners, if anyone has emetophobia, the fear of vomit, just this movie is like all vomit. So
What's it
don't
called?
watch it. Well, my daughter has it. Emetophobia, emetophobia, and it's a
Phobia.
fear of vomit, or seeing others vomit, or yourself vomiting. So, and this movie is kind of. I don't know if anyone specifically vomits, but everything that happens is kind of just like vomit, right? It's
It's
like
just
your body
exploding
turns into
head.
puke. Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
crazy. But so the dad turns into a pukey booger, and then it's cutting to that, and it's cutting to Oh, yeah, so it cuts to Shan, and she's, like, starting to feel weird, so doesn't she take more pills? Which is
She
the wrong move.
does.
Like, she knows, she has to know she shot that dude up in the beginning, so she knows. So maybe she's just trying to kill herself, I don't know, but,
Well, she does say to the doctor, because she leaves a voicemail for Dr. Carrera, and she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, the Nobles, which is the family." She's like, "Hey, their urine samples look really good, so I think we can continue testing."
Oh,
And that's when she takes more pills, because I think she's like, "Oh, these are great."
yeah.
That's what I thought. I could be wrong.
This urine looks great. It reminded me of, brain candy. Anyways, you
Yeah.
know what? That would be I always like to think of double features, and brain candy would be a great double feature with body melt.
Hell yeah.
It's about, a medication, that has side effects and, like, kind of about how shitty corporate pharmaceutical companies are, and it's kind of they're both brightly colored and weird and not quite reality, and, yeah, I think it'd be a good one. And my favorite of these deaths is the son, because
I
what the
wrote
fuck is that
I
all
wrote,
about?
"Yo, Brennan got sick rollerblade moves."
Yeah, I saw rollerblades equal a specific time capsule, like
'Cause they have the shot.
1993, it's like, that's rollerblades, that's when they were the shit. I had some. Did you have rollerblades?
I did.
Hell yeah. Mine were green and black. Oh, yeah.
Mine were green and black too.
Nice. I bet our parents bought us the
We
same
had the
cheap
same.
ass Walmart pair or something.
Yes, mine were from Walmart.
I'm sure mine were too. So,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
that's probably it. Do you remember what happens? Like, so he's rollerblading in the ramp, right? In the half pipe, and he's going for it. And then, like, it's coming because the one where he goes way up high in the air, the camera actually turns all the way around from top to bottom. It does like a 360-degree turn to show you, like, whoa, now he's really spinning. And then he lands on his head.
I loved a like quick edit of just like the kid standing on the ramp, and then all of a sudden just the rollerblade in the air
Yeah.
and going back and forth. I'm like, yeah, this kid's fucking sick.
And then,
Squish.
yeah. So is he infected with this stuff too? Is that why his body squishes so easily?
I think that's what I thought,
That's
because
what
he
I think.
made
Okay.
such a good sound when his body hit the ramp,
Yeah.
like a good squish sound, and then like
Yeah.
I wrote, "Oh shit, his fucked up face. Oh shit." I don't know if you watch things with captions, but I do.
Sometimes. Uh-huh.
And the caption says like bones breaking or like backbone breaking when he's kind of doing that weird flip.
Yeah.
So in my
Oh,
head,
like
I
it
went,
breaks in the air?
yeah, midair when he's flipping. So I
Oh.
thought, oh, is that the drug coursing through his body and breaking his bones? And that's what caused him to basically road rash smash his face on the ramp. And his family, the nobles, they don't even check on him.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like, "Oh, he's around."
They don't. That's the end of the kid.
It's
No one goes to
yeah,
find him.
it's
No one tries to figure out where he's at. They like go to bed. They don't care about this fucking kid at all.
yeah. It's
Poor
yeah,
kid.
and then there's a sister, she doesn't really well, she does care about the brother, right? Doesn't she try and find him?
No, nobody goes looking
I
for
might be
him.
getting confused. Nobody okay.
No. Uh, but then this is when we get to see more of the muscle men that work at the facility.
Yes, and I wrote this down. I love high-voiced Australian musclemen. Where do they come from? Because this is another thing that shows up in a lot of Australian movies. Is like a big beefy Australian guy. He's like talks like this. It's like, what the fuck is that all about? What do they call them? The muscle men? He calls them something.
Megabods.
Megapods, and it cuts to the one.
Well, this is when we find out that the muscly guys have been hopped up on these pills and like this new batch that's been going out, and they're addicted to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because he keeps asking the woman that runs the facility, like, am I gonna get like, can I get another? And she's like, no, like you've had your rations, like you can't have any more. And I was like, ugh, now we're gonna have a scene. It's foreshadowing. We're gonna have a scene where he steals the pills, he steals them, and something bad's gonna happen. And I was right. I was correct. What's funny is these are twins, right? And there's a woman that
Yeah.
works in the facility, and fucking both of them.
Oh, right. She's doing them both. Which that can't be good for her. Well, it's not good for her.
Well, then now we get more porn
Right. Yeah.
because the guy that you see her with originally, he goes and watches porn and his fucking boner explodes
Yeah.
while he's watching porn. And I was like, "Oh, that sucks," which was awesome.
God. Do you think that happens in real life? Can your dick explode?
There has to be some
There's got to be
kind
something.
of ailment that a person can have that causes it to, like, grow.
Yeah, there's that fish. There's a fish that can get into your dick and explode, right, or something. I don't know. I don't know. These are things that I could Google, and then I'll be on a list, but it's fine. But
And then his twin goes and fucks his girlfriend.
first of all, and I didn't write this down, and I believe I said something similar in the burning. Again, we see this muscle man having sex with this lady, and it does not seem like he's good at it. Am I right in that?
Well,
It's very sweaty and very
the
kind of angry, but it also looks like he's not thrusting very well. Right? Does it seem like that to you? What'd you think?
it could be because of the 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 supplements, the, like,
Mhm.
or I'm surprised he could get it up, honestly.
Well, that's a
Um,
very kind assessment, Shandy, because I always think that guys like that just can't fuck. And that they have weird little dicks because of all the working out and the stuff they do. So, and you're saying it's because he's a victim of this horrible drug, which yeah, that's a nice thing to say. I think the guy just can't fuck to save his life.
he's sweating, she seems to be enjoying it.
Yeah, it just looks to me like he's not moving enough, but I don't know. I like spin 100 like 360 degrees, like, I just let loose and just spin anyways, using my wiener as like a pin, like in a pinwheel. Anyway, no, but so he starts choking her, which people often like, but then yeah, oops. Uh
Yeah,
his
man,
body's his body picks a bad time to body melt.
it really does. She's scratching his back until it bleeds.
Yeah, because she's like convulsing.
And then I really like how they did the opening of his back looked really cool, how it was kind of pulsating. They did pretty good with the special effects in this movie. I'm very impressed by them.
And then his back opens up, and then it like they did this throughout the movie, but they cut to like I don't know the melt cam, the vitamin cam, whatever these vitamins are doing. It cuts like a camera from the point of view of that. It's in their body and going around and like shows it coming out,
Yeah.
and it keeps doing that throughout the movie, and it's so awesome. And then yeah, that comes out, and the lady's dead, and the body man, the ultra mega bod guy is dead. But yeah, so shit's hitting the fan with his family, and the mom and his sister, they start freaking out.
Well, because
Well,
mom runs into her husband in the
yes,
bathroom and he's a nasty snot blob.
and he's sick
And
too.
well, he's dead. He's
I meant
just
like
a
I meant that
big.
he's like a shitty person. I was just making a
Oh.
joke. Anyway, okay.
And she's like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here! Like
Yeah.
this place is fucked up. We gotta go." Um,
Well, they go to talk to the lady who runs the company because she's been their little buddy the whole time. They don't know she's super evil.
I do like how Shan dies though. Her like whole
Yeah.
head gets sucked into her body,
And it's
which
like
was
triggered
cool.
because the girl slaps her in the face. Like this girl, okay, the daughter. What's the daughter's name? Because you're good at remembering the names. I don't know. Do you know the daughter's name of the nuclear family, the family?
I just call them the nobles.
The Noble family. Okay. So the daughter, so okay, well, we gotta back up a little bit. So the mom notices that the dad is boogerified or whatever, and she screams because she's like, "Why aren't you responding to me? Oh, you're dead in the bathroom." What? So anyway, she screams, and then she goes over to the phone, and I didn't understand this. She picks up the phone. She doesn't even put it to her ear yet. She just kind of goes, ah, and then sets it back down and runs off. And the daughter like is there. So like, is she like because I was like, oh, maybe it's one of those things where the phone line's cut, but she doesn't even put it up to her ear. So how, like I don't know if she even knows if it's cutting out.
I don't know. That's why I say this movie is just kind of has these weird moments where you just go, "What? Why
Yeah.
is this? Why is this happening? Why did that happen?
Right. But
Doesn't make any
maybe
sense."
she's just like, I kind of like thinking it's just the mom, like, really not knowing how to respond to this situation. She's like, phone? No, no phone, run. Like, I'll call someone later. Like, I'll go to because they end up going to her other doctor's office. But yeah, so she's like, or Well, she speaks before. Okay, never mind. I was gonna maybe say maybe she was unable to talk because of what eventually happens to her, but she talks between the phone and when it happens. So,
Well, she
anyways,
grabs her daughter. The
yeah.
daughter runs and goes and confronts Shan, who basically gets sucked back into her own body. She melts him back into her own body. And then neither one of them are concerned about where the brother is or her son.
No, he's just gone. And the daughter, I want to talk about Shan melting though, because the daughter, like Shan's already melting. She turns around, like she's back to the daughter. She turns around and she's like, "They may be the best place for your body," and the daughter slaps her, which
I would
is
have
like
been like, she
talk
didn't
about
scream, nothing.
no, but talk about bizarre reactions. It's like here's a person who clearly is not real. I mean, I guess you could maybe see that as a threat to you, but like they're also clearly having a medical situation, and your response is like pow, which seems to trigger Shan's body being like, okay, we're done, and then like you said, it like sucks her whole head back into her neck, basically, right?
It would have been cool if she would have like
And
punched her and her fist would have gotten stuck in her face. That would have been
oh
cool.
yeah, that'd be good too. Very Army of Darkness. I feel like that happens in that,
Hell yeah.
but or one of those. Yeah, but yeah. So neither the mom or the daughter are good at responding to things,
No.
and this could be since the family's been experimented on for who knows how long. It could be whatever chemicals are in them are making them stupid. I don't know. And it made the boy, want to just be rad. And I haven't watched much of. I'm getting the Blu-ray in the mail, so maybe I'll watch some special features. But
Oh.
it seems like there's stuff like cut out of this, right? When it goes to the next scene, it fades to black like it's a TV show going to commercial. Like when when Shauna's melting, she's like, "It's the best place for your body," and then it like, which is
It was
awesome,
cool.
and then it like fades to black. And or at least one of those times it fades to black. And so yeah, then the mom and the daughter start running out, and that's when Dr. Crare is the bad guy doctor,
Yeah.
right? Okay, because I'm not really counting the Bogans as bad guys anymore. They're almost like victims, although they are pretty sinister, I guess. Well, yeah, they're bad too, because they sodomized that guy. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not.
you don't get
No
away
matter
with
what
that.
has been done to them, yeah, you don't get to use that as an excuse. You're right. So they're bad too. But anyways, Dr. Carrera, the urban bad guy, not the rural bad guy. He is out in the parking lot, and he's like, this guy's out of his fucking mind at this
It
point.
was really, it made me laugh because the mom and the daughter are driving away in the car, like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, no. And then he just kind of like falls on the ground and then just starts shooting his gun randomly up in the air.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh because now the coppers are in the helicopter, get a chopper,
Mhm.
and
Helicopter.
helicopter. And he like fucking
It's
cops like, he's like, is that like some dumb
Yeah.
joke? I was like, this
And
is
it's the other
hilarious.
cop, not the main detective.
Yeah.
It's the other guy who's there's always that because the other day my daughter and I watched Child's Play for her first time, and there's always like there's so often the second cop. There's like a good guy cop, the guy's trying to figure out what's going on, and then there's the other guy cop who's like, this shit's ridiculous. You're all dumb. I'm smart, and I always have a funny thing to say. It's like there's always that guy. It's like Ellis from Die Hard is a cop, and that's like what all these characters are. But anyways, but yeah. So, but I thought at first the doctor was shooting at the mom and the daughter, leaving it look like, and it's like, well, why do you want to shoot at them? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is anybody doing right now?
I don't know.
Nobody's making the right choice.
It just made no sense. And then I was like, well, is he shooting at the chopper, at the helicopter? Like, what is going on?
I don't know, but they definitely don't appreciate it.
No.
I know I wouldn't either. I understand. But I think the only person that makes a good decision is the boy, because if you're gonna go out, fucking go out rollerblading,
Doing what you love.
right? doing what you love. That's funny. I died as I lived, being fucking sick. Yeah, but yeah, so he shoot at them, and so they basically like, okay, well, we're gonna take you inside now and figure out what the fuck is going on. So yeah, so the mom and the daughter are like, after this whole, I don't know, they're not really good at making decisions. However, going to the doctor is a good idea, right? Going to the other doctor. That's maybe the first good decision they've made in a
That
while.
was the best decision they could have made. And I mean, I guess you'd go to the doctor
Or the
or
police,
a
or
hospital
yeah.
or the cops.
But I guess they knew their doctor, and they were like, oh, you know, and they run in there and try and just like, hey everybody, we're affluent white people, so we get to skip ahead of you. Basically, what they say.
Well, did you clock what the doctor says to them? He says, so he's like, why were you up at the old chemical plant?
He's like, what were you doing up there? I haven't been up there in 20 years. And when he says that, he's like, I haven't been up there in 20 years. He looks up like it's supposed to be very poignant and like it's going to start a lot of exposition. But what's funny is this is the end of the movie. We already get it, so it doesn't do any of that. He just like looks away like he's waiting for someone to ask him more about it, but nobody does.
So is that supposed to have more to do with what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, because then the daughter says the food. So like it was the food and the drugs. Like everything was fucked because
Oh, she
of
does say that.
yeah, and it's because
Dude.
it's built on this old toxic dump or whatever. And I think at some point they say that the vitamins are like processed from the food. Because a lot of those supplements are like, we sourced it from food. So
that on top of the guy keeping part of the formula just kind of fucked everything up.
yeah, there's a lot of irresponsibility, and this is like basically a good argument for regulating the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes, this
'Cause it's
this
like,
movie should be played in front of Congress.
yes. But then they would be like, oh, there's boobs in it. This is horrible. We need to censor movies forever. That would be the response because they never fucking get anything right. But anyway, so they never get the right message. Very few people had good intentions. Maybe this Mac guy, the Bogan dad, had good intentions, maybe. But everybody was kind of just in it to make money, and they didn't really care about how they're affecting anybody. And that does seem to be the real pharmaceutical industry's issue as well.
Yep.
And if there happens to be in the future some toxic worm creating drug, and you said earlier there's a hint that they got something from like space or something from a different reality, right?
Yeah, they can go into different dimensions.
Yeah. Another dimension.
There's
Sorry.
so much going on.
Yeah.
You got toxic waste, pharmaceutical company messing with formulas and shit, hallucinating, going to different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
none of these are good ideas for making medicine.
no, and putting it all together just
yeah. Okay, so I've been on, like I said earlier, I've been taking different vitamins and supplements for a while, but not like weird ones like that are supposed to help you. They're basically just basic nutrients, right? But I also have a couple pharmaceuticals, as you know, I have on Vyvanse and some other stuff. So maybe next time I meet with my doctor about those, I'll be like, I just need to know, is Vyvanse at all sourced from Cthulhu or aliens? Or like an alternate dimension, or the Beastie Boys involved somehow, and just see what she says. She'll be like, well, time's up. I gotta go. Sorry.
It's just snot starts coming out of your nose. That starts moving. The snot,
Yeah.
the mucus was moving on its own too, and he was snotting it out into the sink, which was really cool. Which makes me also think that like it's a living thing in his body, so like the other dimension alien shit kind of resonates there too.
Well, and I think that's why they keep cutting to this inside cam. Whenever someone's about to melt, they cut to this cam in this shot inside their body, so it's something is sentient in there and coming out,
Yeah.
And
and the drugs that they're taking cannot control it.
Right, because the guy took the thing out of it.
Yeah,
he removed that part of it. Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, okay, I know if you're mad at this guy, but you just screwed over all these other people, and maybe they all suck. I don't know. But you don't really get a chance to see if the Noble family sucks. The dad goes on runs, and he's definitely cheesy with his little gold chain, and he looks like he has fake hair, right?
Yeah.
But they seem nice otherwise. The mom seems nice. The sister seems nice.
No, the daughter was an asshole to her little brother. She actually says to him, I hope you break your fucking neck.
Oh, and so she sucks.
I mean, she didn't get it right on the money. I mean, he smashed his fucking face He didn't break his
Right.
neck, but
But it
that's
would have
kind
been
of
weird.
a shitty thing to say to your
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, definitely. And it would have been weird if she's like, I hope a Cthulhu vitamin snaps your back midair and then your face melts all over the pavement, you piece of shit. Uh, but yeah, you're right. So the family's like 50-50, which is about right for real families, right? But they're going to the doctor's office. They try and tell what's going on. And he's like, you're up at that old toxic dump? The health farm? It's on an old toxic dump. It's fucking crazy. Don't go there. And then the mom tries to respond. And then her tongue is like, starts sticking out.
That
And
was really cool.
it's so cool, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, that's kind of like been a fear of mine. Like, what if you get something
Swelling.
because your tongue swelling is that can happen from
Yeah, and then it
different
can cut
things.
off the oxygen
Yeah,
to
like
your
choke
you
you.
can't breathe. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it starts. That's what happens to this lady, and then she like melts on all the other stuff. But yeah, and I feel like that can happen due to different things, and I feel like there's
Allergies, allergic reaction
yeah.
to things. Yep.
And nerve gases. Like I feel like Agent Orange or sarin or
Ugh.
one of those bioweapons, chemical weapons, can do that sort of thing. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the chemical weapon from the movie The Rock, and Nick Cage and Sean Connery, thankfully, saved the Bay Area from getting poisoned with VX gas. But I think of that movie, they're like, yeah, it swells your tongue up. So maybe I'm just thinking of another movie because I'm broken inside. But I feel like that could really happen. You know?
Broken inside, swelling tongues. Can't take it.
Yeah. But yeah, the mom's just the tongue is like 3 feet long. It chokes her and she just falls over. And there's more of the green booger stuff coming out of her mouth and nose. And oh man, it's a mess. And then that's when we cut to, yes, the doctors or the cops going into the building. And then when he goes to Sean's body, he's like sticking his gun in her goop, which is weird.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And he just kind of keeps babbling at him.
Yeah, this scene is weird too, because he's like yelling at Shan, his nasty looking body, like saying some weird comments to her, and then the cops are like, "We gotcha. You're not going anywhere." And then he like shoots his hand, and then it's
And
just
then he makes a speech about how they don't understand what's going on.
no one ever does, and I don't understand what's going on either.
Right.
I'm confused this whole movie.
You have no idea what your body could do with the right formula, but without the fuel, you are nothing. Shoots himself in the hand, 0. So that's his point, but it's also like he's crazy. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe maybe at that point he's like, oh shit, I had the good one, and that's why he kills himself because it's all fucked up now. But you know what I mean? But maybe not. But maybe he was about to. I mean, the guy's out of his gourd is the main point here, I think. But
Well, everything's falling apart.
yeah, and when the doctor started making all this stuff, it didn't include this very crucial thing that was the anti not melting, the not melting factor. So where he thinks everybody's going to become these next Ubermensch kind of next level of humans, instead everybody falls apart. He's just like, nobody understands me, and then he shoots himself in the face after that.
Yeah.
A really good point, though. I mean, if you want someone to listen to the word 0, shoot one into your hand and show them. They'll listen to you. Like, okay, man, we got it. Yeah, and so the cops are going through the factory, and
They're seizing everything.
Yeah, they're seizing all the property.
Memuville is Dunzoville.
We think. And then they get home, not home. Well, yeah, cops live at the police station, right? So they get home to their police station.
Police station.
Where they sleep. So they go home to the police station, and everybody's freaking out, covered in green stuff, because the new father of the pregnant lady is still alive, and he's been infected by all that stuff, and now he's in there like spitting up green shit. And one of the like rookies is stuck in this room with him, and like they only show the rookie for a second, but it looks like he's like shitting his pants. Like you don't see anything like that. And I feel like this movie, he what?
He faints.
Oh, he does. Yeah. And I feel like the movie is the kind of movie that might show you someone shitting their pants, but they don't. But it seems like he is. And
I just like how everyone's covered in the green snot.
And yeah, I kind of want to see What's funny is and this movie's good at that. Like we've been saying, there's pieces. It feels like there's pieces cut out sometimes, but they're also very good at not giving you too much and letting you fill in the holes, which I always like when a movie does that on purpose. And I feel like this is one of the times where it's done on purpose. Like they come in, all these cops already have green stuff on them, so you have to think like one by one. They'll be like, "Okay, I'll go talk to him," and they get covered in shit. They're like, "I had to work," and someone else like, "Okay, I'll go talk to him," and they just did that like 20 times, and it
And
still
then
doesn't work.
because it's was he just in the room or was he running? 'Cause even people in the waiting area
He
were
might have
like
been running
covered in
around.
it. So like,
Yeah,
was he?
yeah,
He's obviously in custody, so he wouldn't be with with everybody else in the waiting room. He would have been stuck in that room.
yeah. Because he's accused of murdering his wife,
Yeah,
right?
so he'd be in there
Yeah.
being interrogated. So how the fuck is it all over everybody?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they were just going in there, be like, "I'll talk to him." Oh no, it didn't work on me. I have this shit all over me. You go, Steve. Check it out.
Or are they really
Uh,
lax in Australian police
it sure
stations
seems
where
like
he's
it.
like, "I'm hungry." He's like, "Oh yeah, we'll go to the vending machine,
Yeah,
buy
probably,
yourself." And that's when he just spits up on
probably.
everybody.
Look at look at how the coroner acts and dresses. I would say they're pretty lax because the coroner comes in right at this point after he's like, they don't even really show right away, but clearly the guy's face starts puffing up and he's dead. Something's happened. It's so good.
Dude, the way his cheeks are
Oh,
growing,
it's
it just
so
looks
scary.
so fucking awesome because it's like bloody and snotty and like just that guy did a good job acting of his
Yeah.
face fucking
Yeah.
blowing up and just being nasty.
A good mix of performance and
Yes.
makeup effects, like having the. But so the guy blows up, and then yeah, like you said, the junior cop, whatever he looks like a rookie. Fuck a rookies. You can't see a guy melt from space alien viruses and not faint. What a pussy.
They do a shot of everybody in the waiting room and there's a guy that's kind of standing squatting on a chair and he's just shaking and he's covered in green stuff, but
Oh.
he's the only one I look at in that shot because he looks like he's
Okay.
actually responding
You're
to
right, and he's in a
like
suit.
what the fuck
You
is
know
going
what?
on?
I bet it's his. I think it's the guy's lawyer.
Is
'Cause
it?
he's in a suit and stuff. It might
It
be. I'd have
probably
to watch it again. We'll have to
is.
go back to the tape. But yeah, yeah.
Good
So it's
call.
something horrible has happened. But so then in fucking strolls the coroner,
Who's
and
whistling? That
he's
made me
whistling.
laugh.
And can we say what he's wearing? He's wearing. Okay, he is wearing. We'll get to the shirt in a second, but he's wearing like just regular like blue shorts, just average old shorts, and like black socks, right?
Mhm.
And then just shoes and every fight like and then he's wearing this tie-dye shirt, right? So he looks like I do when I go out to mow the lawn.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's coming
Right.
to work at the
Mm,
hospital or the
right at the police station at the morgue. But so he says maybe my favorite thing in the movie. And so he gets up and he looks at the guy who's exploded and whatever. And he looks down at him. He's covered in goop. There's obviously all sorts of goop and blood and all various viscous substances, and it's slimy and gross. There's green, there's yellow, there's red, and it's all over this guy. And the guy's got he's like a mechanic, right? So he has the mechanic shirt open and a white shirt underneath is what it was, and it's covered in all these different colored goop now,
Yep.
right? And do you remember what the coroner says?
Like, man, he's wearing my shirt.
Yeah, he's got my fucking shirt on, is what he says. He's got my fucking shirt on. Because he does it, but he has like, his shirt has been tie-dyed by all the things that came out of him when it exploded.
See, I would hope that would be an example to that other cop that's trying to have these fun one-liners. This is how you do a one-liner.
Yeah.
Smart. This is a smart one.
And it might not even be that. See, I don't even know if he's being funny. I think because he's weird. He's out of his mind. He's on drugs. He might just think, you know, how like he's like stoned or something. Like, oh wow, he's got my shirt on. Like it might just be like that. You know?
Oh man,
Like,
dude's
oh,
wearing my shirt.
I thought I was the only one who had this shirt. What a bummer, man. Hey, how come he's exploded? But you know,
He
so
also goes, man, I love my job.
yeah, then he says, I love my job after he's like poking around in this dead guy's face and shit.
You see all these people that are fucking traumatized for life now, and he's
Mhm.
just like, la 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 la
Yeah.
la la la.
But then he does give us a clue to the kind of what's going on. 'Cause he says cognition enhancers, huh? Which is like that was one of the pills, one of the Vimuville's products is supposed to be like, you know, just increasing your brain
Yeah.
cognition. He's like, oh, so that's what this is supposed to be, right? and then did this shit. So he's like a
Man.
good guy. He's trying to help figure out, but he's also just
I
an
know.
idiot.
I kind of wish we would have had a little bit more of him.
Yeah, but then he says something else great. He's like, "You should see the new death certificates." Then it says in quotes, "Death by hypernatural causes," and that's a great word for it. I mean, it might be
Cool.
supernatural if it's from some alien ghost dimension where they're getting some of their product. I don't know, but if you're just talking about, I mean, that's what supplements always advertise themselves as they're natural, right? But if you think about it, if you're stacking up too much natural stuff inside your body, well, yeah, hypernatural, that makes sense,
Hyperactive, hyped, yeah.
Dude,
Whoa.
we should make ourselves a tie-dye shirts that just say in like that good old screen printed black lettering on the front, like block lettering, just says hypernatural causes on a tie-dye shirt. That'd be sweet.
Dude, I'll make them tonight.
There
I'll
you go.
send you one. I'm telling you, I will. And then we're back at the petrol station.
So it's the same cashier from the beginning, and he's like, "Did you catch that fucking guy? He was crazy, right? With the detergent? That guy he was a crazy asshole." That's what he said.
We came back to that guy.
Maybe he'd just been working the whole time because it's only been like a couple days, so maybe he just has a long
Yeah.
shift. But and then that's it. I mean, then the cop walks out with the aspirin. They're like, "Okay, bye." And then the camera does this awesome, like, I think what they did is they took a dolly shot through the store and then reversed it, is what it seems like, and maybe even sped it up a little bit.
That's what it felt like, and it was really cool.
Really cool, yeah. And then it's obviously ends on bottles of Imuville still on the shelves, and the cop didn't even notice.
Didn't even look.
And then you got this song over the credits where it's this crazy ass punk techno stuff. And do you remember what the lyrics are?
No. I stopped it. Man, why did I keep watching it?
Body melt, body melt, it's like awesome.
Sexy?